The ark is a symbol of salvation, redemption, conservation, sanctuary, and regeneration. And the story of a vessel preserving the continuity of life from floodwaters is found in mythology of many peoples all over the world. Most notable is in the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's most ancient works of literature, where it references a flood story. Utnapishtim tells Gilgamesh a secret story that begins in the old city of Shuruppak on the banks of the Euphrates River. The great gods, Anu, Enlil, Ninurta, Ennugi, and Ea, were sworn to secrecy about their plan to cause this great flood. But the god Ea, who would be known by the Sumerians as Enki, repeated the plan to Utnapishtim through the reed wall in a reed house. And Ea commanded him to demolish his house and build a boat, regardless of the cost, to keep living beings alive. In the Buddhist flood myth, the carpenters who had fouled the sacred island and angered spirits built an ark at the warning of a compassionate spirit. "Carpenter," she said, "the spirits are angry with you. Do not stay in this place. In half a month from this time, the spirits will bring up the sea and destroy you, one and all. Flee now, or you will all perish." With this advice, she returned to her own home, and all the people were terrified, and a great noise arose as they argued in confusion about what this message meant. The wise should consider carefully in his own heart, and then make a balanced decision. So let us build a great ship. If we work hard together, we can complete it before the full moon. Then, if the warning of the great floods come true, we will be saved. If there is no flood, then no harm is done. We can leave the ship and continue to live here. In Hawaiian mythology, a man named Nu'u made a great canoe with a house on it and filled it with animals. In this story, the waters came up over the earth and killed all the people, and only Nu'u and his family were saved. In the Greek mythology, Deucalion is referenced as the sole survivor with his family of a great flood that comes in the times of the Greek age. This flood is caused by the anger of Zeus. According to this myth, the king of Arcadia sacrificed a young boy to Zeus, who was appalled by the offering and decided to put an end to the Bronze Age by unleashing a great deluge. Deucalion, with the aid of his father Prometheus, was saved from the deluge by building a chest. In Native American myth, the Choctaw flood myth says that there was total darkness for a great time over the whole of the earth, and the Choctaw doctors or mystery men looked out for daylight for a long time, until at last they despaired of ever seeing it, and the whole nation was unhappy. At last a light was discovered in the north, and there was a great rejoicing, until it was found to be the great mountains of water rolling on, which destroyed them all, except a few families who had expected it and built a great raft on which they all survived. In Inca mythology, the supreme being and creator, Kontiki Viracocha, creates both a race of giants and a race of humans, but the giants were so unruly that he destroyed them in a mighty flood and turned them all to stone. He spares two humans, a man and a woman, who would rebirth the human race, and this man and woman survived the flood by floating to Lake Titicaca in a wooden box. Conversely, in Iran, a place that does not produce floods, this mythology tells us that Ahura Mazda himself warns Yima that there would come a very harsh winter, followed by melted snow. Ahura Mazda advises Yima to construct a vara, or enclosure. This he is to use to populate with the fittest of men and women, and in which two of every animal, bird, and plant, and a supply with food and water should be gathered from the previous summer. In the Matsya Purana, Matsana, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu as a fish, warns Manu, a human, about an impending catastrophic flood and orders him to collect all the grains of the world in a boat. In some forms of the story, all creatures are said to be preserved in this boat as well. And when the flood destroys the world, Manu survives by boarding the ark. Matsaya pulls to safety.